Welcome
Welcome
to
to
Shade
Shade
and the
the
City.
City.
I'm your girl, Treese.
It's Nels.
And today we are jumping into our review of Love and Marriage Huntsville, Season 7, Episode 4. It's the Town Hall Downfall. We're still talking about the Expo. So, if you are tired of hearing about the Expo, but are here today to hear this review, we appreciate you. Please make sure that you hit that like button.
And that subscribe button.
Yes, and let's get into it because we all know what this episode is about. So, yeah. Let's get shady. Marsau claims that we see him still talking to Mel. He claims that he doesn't have anything or any reservations about Tisha and Melly having any type of relationship, and he wants them to be in a good place. I feel like that's bullshit. But Mel points out that it's him that's been in the beef on the social of the media on Beyonce's internet, not Tisha. And that's actually true because remember, I don't check the internet. I stay off the internet. Mm-hmm. So that is true.
That's now, where his back be.
What happened?
I said that's where his back be.
Right. So Marcel feels that he has the right to, basically give his opinion on situations. And he basically told Mel that he just felt like, her little
t-shirt. It wasn't a jab. It was my opinion.
Yeah, he said her little t-shirt business was, just what it is. And it failed and she had to file bankruptcy. And he was just, being sassy, as we know. And basically,
I don't think it was a t-shirt business he was referring to. That failed. Because she said that she filed bankruptcy because Martell did. And I think wasn't it Scolt?
Oh, maybe it was.
Because remember he was like, who owns Scolt now?
Oh, good point. Mm-hmm. I'm not gonna lie. It's the sassiness for me. I know, the little back and forth, but I love Marcel. I do. I need him. Sometimes it crosses lines of sassiness that I can't enjoy or even defend, because if it was me, then I probably would be out here trying to put my hands on a grown-ass man. And I know that we don't condone that. Shadeinthecity does not.
I mean, if he was definitely like one of us, we would love him to death.
Okay, right. But, basically Mel corrects him, as Nell said, and basically says that, she wasn't going to take all of Martell's debt with her. And so, yeah, she had to file bankruptcy. But she said, you filed bankruptcy because your finances was bad. Now, that's something different. Run tell that.
Did you see he was quiet?
Yeah. And then she takes it even further and brings up the current lawsuit against them. What is it, for $5 million?
Mm-hmm.
So Marcel claims that he doesn't know what Mel does. And feels like, and then so she brings up that she's
still don't know what nobody do.
Right. So she brings up that she's still in the property preservation business, which she got him into. What?
If you claiming that you don't know what all these people do, then how are you making decisions based off of what they do or don't do? Or making comments based off what they do or don't do?
So, he feels like the reason why he didn't ask her, or he says that the reason he didn't ask her to speak, or, I guess the Expo situation, was because he feels like, it's throwing many ideas and seeing what sticks, and she can do that and sell because she has a platform and a #1 show, but the audience that they're speaking to don't have that. And so, basically he wanted to speak for a more realistic perspective, I guess he was trying to say. And Mel can somewhat understand what he's saying. He also feels like Chris and Nell were being a little bit messy. And he says that, he does respect the preservation business, and they agree to, respect each other. I guess we'll see how long that lasts. So Marcel invites her to give her feedback at the town hall that we know Maurice and Kimmi are throwing. And Mel thinks it's funny and ironic that he now wants her feedback, but doesn't respect
criticized her business.
Right. And I said, well, great points, great points. Now I know you're gonna tear this up, and I feel so bad for this girl, and I know you.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. So Lewis and Tiffany went on a picnic so they can get some quality time that she feels like she's been lacking. He said that he got a baseball gig at A&M and he loves baseball, so it was a no-brainer for him. Now, she's mainly complaining about the fact that she has all of these things to take care of around the house. And, you know, even after all she's done,
she still feels like she's not finished, basically.
Basically, she hasn't done anything.
Right.
And he basically is like, yeah, that's what I used to do. I was the one running around the house while you was always at work, you know, busy all the time. Couldn't even lay down with your husband.
Ooh.
I was the one taking care of everything. So Tiffany said maybe, you know, she was living in this fantasy world.
At least she took a little accountability.
It's too late now. Y'all have a whole human being.
Don't do that today.
Too late. It's too late. Too late. You can't put him back where you got it from. Okay.
That's true.
Now, she says that basically, you know, she took all the things that he did for granted, that, you know, used to help her out. He said, you know, whether he got this gig or not. Oh, I'm sorry. And she also.
And I was going to say, Tiffany, what you really missing is if you had a man that was out here cooking and cleaning and doing stuff while you was just going to work, you don't realize how blessed you are. The fact that you didn't have to go to work and still come home and do those things. God bless you.
Sorry. And she also thought that things weren't going to change, no matter how many people told her they would. No matter how many people told her life would get harder. She didn't believe it until now. Reality hit. And
okay, you so can I tell you, and this is probably, I wouldn't say it's unpopular opinion, but I was actually having a conversation earlier today about this particular scene with someone you know. And she hasn't been up on the show. And I was just telling her, like, oh yeah, Tiffany and Lou. And she was just like, I don't feel bad for her. I do not feel bad for her. She asked for this. They are 2 kids in. They are not new to this. They know what a child comes with.
That's what makes it worse. Because they know.
Like, damn, y'all just won't give Tiffany no type of nothing.
You expect it from a new parent because they just don't know. They think that they've dealt with the worst of the worst, of the hardest of the hard.
Right.
No, you've been there, done it, and wanted to do it again.
15 years difference, I think she said.
So basically, he said, whether I got this gig or not, we knew our lives were going to change. She said that she's also concerned about how happy he is while he's outside the home. And she don't want no hot little young thing running up on her husband. Now, he says that he knows where home is, and he has a damn good home. And home is the only reason why he's on the road. What you expect him to say? He wasn't getting none before. Now, you throwing it at him. Maybe. Okay. Now he's always gone. You probably got
and you see how upset she was that she can't go work out, because you know that thing was thanging last season. That thing
you probably got baby vomit all over you, got dishes all over the house, got stuff to do, errands to run. Child, bye.
I am going to be devil's advocate and the voice of reason. I'm not saying she didn't have time to think this through. I think that she was hopeful and optimistic because she had done it before. But I did feel bad for her because I do think she's dealing with a little bit of postpartum. I can't with that face.
You mentioned that too. You know, I know some ladies get postpartum. I just didn't think it was going to happen to me. Anyways.
She thought she was, what it is, and this is not, I think she took for granted all that her husband did for her. And when he found something else, his drive, because remember, she was all about work, 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 work. And now he's found his work, 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 work. And that's what he wants to be in. And she's not the forefront, and the house is not the forefront of his attention. She took it for granted. I will say that. Your face.
I don't feel bad for her, but I'm going to give her some grace by not chewing her ass out, because she may be dealing with the postpartum, but I mean, it comes along with the territory. So
yeah, it does.
But yeah, basically she lets him know that she needs more quality time, and he said that he will do better to give her that. Maybe that means more FaceTime calls. I don't know what the hell that means if he's always gone.
I was like, let's hope for the best.
Because if he ain't doing it now, I mean, and he's working all the time.
So everyone starts rolling in for the town hall. Marsau shares about his meeting with Mel and how he explained that Mel launched her stuff based off the platform. And that's why, they had a little disagreement and tussled and had words. Unlike Stormy. Stormy, was doing this before she got on the show. Now, Martell calls him out on this and was like, well, most of the things that you do came from you being on this platform.
Would be irrelevant if you weren't on
right.
He's like, yeah, I said that. I didn't see you say that.
So then Kimmi walks in on this conversation and basically is warning Marsau, like, look, can you watch your words? Like, just tread lightly. Let's go light on the sassy. And now, Mel walks in right after that, and in the midst of this discussion, and Mel actually says that, Marsau did apologize. I don't remember seeing that, but I guess he did apologize to her.
He did apologize.
And she goes right in with her opinions. And I said, Mel said, I am booked and busy. I am catching flights, not feelings. And I am here to collect a check. So,
and she actually was catching a flight right after.
Right. She says that she thinks that they should have broken down in basically small breakout groups.
Yeah, she said breakout sessions, yeah.
And Tisha agrees that the next one that should be done. So I was like, okay, we saw, Tisha was receiving of that. And then Stormy talks about, the motivational piece not necessarily being there and how, you got to get these people amped up. Now, Marsau shuts down and says he basically doesn't want the attendees to leave with nothing. And he feels like, motivation is BS.
He said it brings it back to the surface and then they leave with nothing.
And Stormy realizes that basically everything that she's kind of throwing out or any type of, suggestion, Marsau is basically just, not really here for it. And he basically says, oh, you know what? I want to see what Courtney's wife has to say. No, I really, really want to see what Courtney's wife. And I was like, that is so disrespectful. And honestly, I applaud them, but I really wanted Courtney to go across the room and knock his block off. Marsau treads that line.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know why he wants the business with Courtney. Because I feel like Courtney will hurt him. Maybe because Maurice is in the room to protect him.
I think he thinks that Courtney is just more mature than him. And he ain't going to do nothing.
Oh, okay. Okay. I feel like Courtney is.
I think he thinks he's not going to stoop down to his level.
Well, you know what? Because Marsau is going through money issues right now, he does look like the type to sue you and try to take you to court if you beat him up on this. Like,
I need $5 million.
Right. Right. So yeah, you know what, Courtney, be smart. Be smart. Ignore my ignorant advice. So anyway. So Stormy isn't here for Marsau's sassiness, and Courtney tells him that he should let Tisha talk and says he believes that she's a little bit more organized. Mm-hmm. So Mel notices that there's a thick tension, obviously, as we know, between, and it's not even necessarily Tisha, it really is Marsau going at Stormy and Courtney. He says that the difference in his marriage, there isn't any gender roles.
Well, in his business.
Oh, in his business.
Because we know there's gender roles in his marriage.
Right. Kimmi calls out Marsau for being catty, and Stormy feels like basically she should have stayed at home. This is a waste of her time. And so basically Mel says that, she hopes for the next one, that it's a little bit more organized. And so Tisha's like, well, you didn't think it was organized? And Mel was like, no. And she was like, there were some things that, behind the scenes could have been a little bit. And then, Mel's like, I don't know where this.
But she was like, and we're not going to discuss this. And Mel was like, oh, I'm definitely going to discuss it.
If you ask
we're definitely going to discuss it. And you ain't about to downplay what I just said. I thought, see, yes, welcome back, Mel. Welcome back.
So then anyway, Marsau is trying to convince them that he's going to be open to the feedback, good or bad. Tiffany questions even from the women, and he says, I know you're not used to being valued, but you're no, he said, I know you're not used to being valued at home, but you're valued here. Even Tisha was like, did you really just say that? Again, he treads a very fine line of
where if it were somebody out in the street, you are
right
already would have knocked their ass
head off. Right. That's why I'm like, I want to be laughing like kiki, but then I'm like, no, because I just would hate for some young man or some young woman watching this show and think that they can go out in the street that is not on a platform like this and say shit to somebody and think that they might not get their head knocked off. Just like, just like.
And you see, he only has this energy though for the women.
Right. Yeah, Tiffany is better than me. I think I would have lost much. But no, so Tisha basically tells him to calm his ass down. And then, Stormy says he's acting just like a bitch. So Marsau says he is one.
He was like, is that your feedback, sweetie? I said,
yeah, when he said the sweetie. So Stormy tells him that, basically she's going to go get him a wig. But you know what I will say? And I guess maybe because she doesn't want to cuss him out, I do feel like when Stormy gets flustered and she can't articulate, she'll just back down. Like she'll just walk out.
I think because she just wants to hit you.
Because she just wants to hit you.
I get like that too.
She just gets flustered and she doesn't want to argue.
You're just like, I'm not gonna just keep on going back with you. Like,
right.
Eventually it's gonna get there.
So Marsau basically says that he won't be inviting the Steels back next year. And then I think they mentioned that their last names are still different or something like that. And she's like, but that's okay.
I think Marsau did that on purpose. I think he knew.
Oh.
Because she was like, he says that all the time. And then Courtney corrected him. He was like, I'm Beasley and she's Steele. And then he said something, but it made me feel like he knew. And that's why he does it.
I didn't even think about that. So then they get into the $100 and Stormy points out Kimmi didn't know about it either. And Marsau says next time, what did he say? I'll send out a birthday party invite and let them know it's not their birthday.
Well, no. He said, if I send out a birthday party invite, I have to let you know that it's not your birthday. Like, I think what he was trying to say was, it's my event. So I have to remind you that it's not your event. I think because Stormy made a comment like, you invited me. I didn't ask to come. You invited me. And then you asked me to give you $100 the day of the event. So he's like, oh, okay. Well, if I send out a birthday invite, I have to remind you that it's not your birthday. So I don't know. I think he was trying to make a point with that, but it really wasn't.
It didn't land. I was like, and so yeah, Stormy and Courtney leave. Stormy and Courtney leave.
Okay, Courtney.
And basically Courtney says that Marsau is too involved in women's business, and Marsau just loves being antagonistic. He loves it. He thrives off of it.
And he does. Okay. So then Kimmi. What?
You better respect her elders. I was shocked at Kimmi. She was here for the smoke. She was like,
Kimmy's always here for the smoke. It didn't shock me at all.
I was like, Kimmi, but with now, I'm used to seeing her do that with I said, okay.
She's done it with other older women. She did it with Tisha's mom.
Miss Wanda's.
You know what? The thing is, so they use the term that I was talking about. You can't call what she did disrespectful because she actually wasn't disrespectful. She was nice, nasty.
She was nice, nasty. Yes, they
Nice,
were.
nasty. So Kimmi invited Nell to sit down and have a conversation with her and explain to her that she held the town hall meeting, and wants to let her know why she didn't invite her. So she basically told her that she wanted people there that, were at the event to give their feedback. Otherwise, really, she didn't really feel like her opinion held any value. I don't know if those was the right words to use. So basically she tells her, I think this is where it kind of went left a little bit. Nell tells her that she didn't feel like it was her place to decide whether she should be there or not. Kimmi said, well, it was my event. I said, well, so Kimmi let her know that, it was her meeting. Yes. And moving forward, when they do have events, she would like to invite her. But, at this point, they can agree to disagree, but really wanted, the people that were at the event to give their opinion. So Nell said that, she understood there's no bad blood and they're good. Now, I'll get into this next one because I know the last one you did was super long. So Martell goes to check on a property that, he's been working on with his friend. I feel like the friend's name was Chris also. I could be wrong. Don't give me the line. Anyway,
I didn't get the other friend's name.
Chris Fletcher pulled up. Of course, they had a conversation about when the hell Martell is getting out. Martell said, about a week and a half. This man didn't agree, like he hadn't agreed for the past few months. But Martell clearly gonna do what the hell he want to do. Chris tells him that he'll help him with the trucks and everything, whatever the hell he needs.
Chris is still going above and beyond.
And it's the fact that Martell,
that goes to show you men really are maybe better problem solvers or like working things out. Because at this point, I love you. I would have just cussed you out by now. I think
at this point you're taking
and what I'm not gonna do is offer to help you move. Like it's just not happening.
Because at this point you're taking advantage. Right. Like it's been months.
Right.
And the fact that you keep on hanging our friendship over my head because we're friends is going on this long. The hell?
But the fact that I guess I love to see it, civilized Black folks, but I just want you're messing with my money, you're messing with my business. Like we have a problem, and the fact that we can still sit up here and just shoot like nothing's going on is like the fact that he even just slid that in normal conversation, and there was no real like, no, we would be having a confrontation, not like a conversation. I just
okay, so then they have a conversation about the things that Marsau said about the business and the things he said about Mel. So basically, saying that he owns Skolt now. And of course, the little jabs that he took. So Martell, of course, is feeling some type of way and said that he wished he would have known all this before the town hall meeting, because he definitely would have addressed it when he was in front of him. And he says that Marsau wouldn't have touched half the things that he touched had it not been for him and Mel. Ooh. So they kind of cut it off right there. It was to be continued, but it looks like it's going to carry over to the next episode.
And you know what? I said in my notes, I'm happy to see Martell working, because we all know how I feel about Martell.
I actually like to see him. I like to see him take up for Mel.
I do too.
When he takes up for Mel, I like to see it.
Yeah. And because again, it's terrible. You don't know what you got till it's gone.
At least I
love the fact that, or at least I hope he's getting to a place where just because she no longer wants to be with you, that doesn't mean you have to suffer on her character or who she is.
That's what so I think that's why I like it, because in my mind, he's bitter. Yeah. So to see that he's not so bitter to the point where he can still take up for her.
Oh yeah, because if anybody used to be able to say anything, and he'd be like, "Yeah, Mel," and
yeah. Or they wasn't saying anything; it'd be him.
That's true. That's very true. Well, guys, thank you so much for tuning in to this review of Love and Marriage Huntsville. I do believe, let's hope, let's pray that we are moving on. I think we are from the
To
Expo.
another issue.
We are exiting the Expo, okay? And now we're talking about old beef of who helped who. Whatever, I guess that's what happens when you've been friends for so long. You got to rehash,
Old
these
shit.
type of things. Right. But yeah, we appreciate y'all joining us. If you have not already, please make sure that you hit that like button,
You comment,
you subscribe,
and you hit the notification bell.
and make sure you're following us on all the platforms, the TikTok, the Twitter, Facebook, and the IG. And yeah, y'all, we will catch you next week for another review of the love and the marriage that is in the #1 city of America, Huntsville. Good night.